And welcome back to FUTV United TV. I'm Adam. This is your evening update, and it's all gone a little bit crazy with the striker situation with Manchester United. We were updating you earlier on today about Watkins and Manchester United talking to Aston Villa. Villa then saying no after that video came out, not for sale. Or is he? If the price is right, everyone's for sale. More details on that. But then we had Fabrizio Romano's update on Benjamin Sesko. Ornstein saying that Sesko is now a target for Newcastle because of the news earlier on that Isaac has come out and told Newcastle he wants a new football club. Hence why he's not on the tour with Newcastle. Some Manchester United fans going into crazy mode thinking that we should then go and buy Isaac. That has been completely quashed. But in the mix-up, and it is a mix-up, there seems to have been a involvement with Benjamin Sesko where fans are talking and journalists are talking like Manchester United can't afford to go for Benjamin Sesko. On top of that, Romano has actually come out and given us the price of what it's going to cost for Manchester United to buy Benjamin Sesko. And yes, we can afford to buy Benjamin Sesko. I'll explain what I mean by that, but also Manchester United can't at the moment. I'll also explain what I mean by that, i.e. the blockers. The players we cannot get rid of, where PSR does make a deal look more financially attainable, it still has to be added to the obvious ones that are still there, i.e. players that are having, well, transfer fees paid yearly, like we know, and wages paid yearly, as we know. United have still got a big debt to pay in terms of them existing transfers. That's where the historical transfers kick in. I gave a little bit away there as to what I'm talking about, but we're going to get into everything that's been said from Romano, from Ornstein, the Newcastle side of thing, how it impacts Manchester United, Watkins, Mateta, Mitrovic. Yes, all of that in one show, and getting your comments in also. So please do get into the live section. Talk to me right now, everybody. Let's dissect all of this, what's happened this afternoon, because there's a lot, and it's a little bit of a social media meltdown at the moment. And I'm going to be honest, like when you see stories like Sesko too much, can't afford Isaac, you're going to get the negative lovers coming out in force. This is the Ineos and Glazer effect and things like this. No, this is just the Glazer effect and the players that they bought stopping Manchester United moving forward, basically. But let's just concentrate one by one on each of these players, and we'll start with the Benjamin Sesko situation, because people are driving home the reaction comments more than anything. By that I mean the negative one always gets more of a reaction on, say for instance, X or Instagram, any social media platform. Journalists know this, and everybody goes with the big story, and you'll see this with a lot of the journalists, some big ones that follow Manchester United that are actually over in Chicago right now, and I know for certain, but they're the ones that are driving the negative. United can't afford this, United can't do that, this player's stopping this happen, but until we move him we can't do this or that, and then that club's going to come in and take that player away from us, blah blah blah. That's what's going to get driven. Let's just break it down sensibly and where we're actually at with this one. So in terms of Benjamin Sesko, United still want to buy Sesko. We know the price now. Fabrizio Romano has broke it down. It's a gentleman's agreement when broken down into pounds that is 60 million plus 4 million in add-ons. Pretty much, well, it's not. Well, I'd say it's probably nearer to Matthias Cunha. And Matthias Cunha paid over 3 years, cost Manchester United just over 20 million quid in transfer fees. Fine, yeah, no problem at all. Fine, got that. Very clear what it's going to cost. That, by the way, has come down from when Arsenal were talking to Benjamin Sesko. At the start of the summer, that price has come down because it was closer to 70. Now at 60 million plus the add-ons, that actually is definitely affordable for Manchester United. So anyone saying that we cannot afford Sesko, mistaken. When you move into where we're at, so Manchester United had meetings. Romano said this week, meetings. At the moment, United can't afford Benjamin Sesko. What Romano means by that is United are not prepared to buy Benjamin Sesko at that price because they feel that something else might happen and the price comes down. Now Newcastle are in, maybe that doesn't happen. So then where do we go from there? Then you look at what actually happens with Manchester United's side of things. Can we do like we did with Bryan Mbeumo? Well, not at the moment, we can't, no. But can we do that if we sell a player? Yes, we can. And the problem United have got is we've still not moved anybody else on since Marcus Rashford. We know how much we're saving from Rashford's wages. We know what we've saved from, or what we've made, sorry, from sell-on fees, penalties for Sancho. We've covered all of that. Manchester United's money is there. We know what players we want and need in terms of positions. Romano goes on to say the discussions have been going on for a couple of weeks with Manchester United. The discussions were the transfer breakdown, the transfer structure, the fee breakdown, the players' openness to move. That is okay. He would like to go to Manchester United. According to several different sources covering this story, Sesko has said he would be happy to move to Manchester United and take that project on. And yeah, what we're looking at here now is it's Manchester United. Yes, we can afford Benjamin Sesko at that price. Do we want to buy him? And obviously, we need to move other players on. So, people will tell you, and I have said this also, 60 million, like, for instance, Manchester United getting Bryan Mbeumo done for 65 million quid. It's not 65 million quid, it's 16.25 million this summer because it's in instalments. So you could say, and don't get this mixed up, when people say, like Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, that Manchester United have got £140 million worth to spend if they want to, that's not cash available. That's PSR availability in terms of how much United can go in debt this summer or how much they can overspend without recouping anything in. So we're pretty much at that max. United on the reports had around about 70 cash available, which has obviously been swallowed up with Cunha and Mbeumo. And now we're into the red. So effectively, right now, we're into that chunk of PSR room that we've got. But that's not our money. So don't get mixed up with thinking that United can go and spend 140 million because that's what we've got available. No, that's what we're allowed to overspend by this summer. And United don't want to do that. They want to try and make Manchester United sustainable and profitable. So they're not going to just jump in like they did before and spend all of that money. They want to get rid of the players. But what you've also got to remember here is, yes, Matheus Cunha is approximately, 20 million, just over. Bryan Mbeumo is obviously 16.2 million, just over that for him. So you're looking at, just 32, 33 million for both of them players. And you're thinking, yeah, we've got loads of money there. That's easily. No, they're not calculating that in what they're saying, because Manchester United obviously still are paying very similar fees for Mason Mount, for Antony, for Jadon Sancho, for Casemiro, for Rasmus Højlund, for Andre Onana. Do I need to go on and on to Martinez and players that Manchester United have spent a lot of money on? Matthijs de Ligt, Manuel Ugarte, Lenny Yoro. We're talking a whole squad here. You put all of them payments a year together, and then it starts to add up a little bit more. Manchester United want to take away Antony, Sancho, Garnacho's wages, and a transfer fee 100% profit, which is key, by the way. Malacia also on that one, and Rashford has already gone. When you get rid of them, then everything starts to open up a little bit. So you're replacing one player with another. Because Manchester United have bought players in that are not offering us anything. We're stuck with players that are costing the club a fortune and not getting us anywhere on the pitch. And they have to be gone. And they obviously have to be gone to make room for Manchester United to actually fit them into their budget. So Sesko isn't an issue. People are going on then about what David Ornstein has said. Manchester United approached Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike, but the player had already promised Liverpool that he's going to go to them, now signed for Liverpool. So, okay, right, if we can go for Hugo Ekitike, then surely Manchester United can afford Benjamin Sesko. He's cheaper. And Romano just confirmed he's cheaper. Going back to the point again, like, the only player Manchester United can't afford at the moment is a player they want now. And by that I mean we can't move yet until we've made the space in the squad for that player. We could easily afford that player if someone else wasn't there. The speed of moving players on has always been and will be the biggest issue in this transfer window for Manchester United. Not us getting the deal, because we've got two cracking deals already for Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, and they've given Ruben the two players that he really wanted to work with, the two big signings he was saying. This striker is more of a bonus signing for United right now off the back of other players leaving. It's only going to take one of Garnacho, Antony or Jadon Sancho to leave Manchester United for us to be able to afford Benjamin Sesko comfortably. Let's not forget, on all of this, and like I've just said, the reason United could afford him but don't want to is because they're obviously still paying for other players, and wages and transfer fees and instalments are coming out every single year. Rashford releasing 17 million of that, combined with the 10 million wages and the near 17 million pound a year in instalments for Jadon Sancho, gets you Benjamin Sesko with ease. It's thought that the wages are not even going to be a problem at all for Benjamin Sesko. Flip across to what Ben Jacobs said earlier on to Ollie Watkins, for instance. Now, Villa, according to the Telegraph, have come out and said that Watkins is not for sale. Bullshit. Of course Watkins is for sale. We know he's for sale. Otherwise, United would not go and communicate with Aston Villa. So why do we know that Watkins is for sale? Bill, he's 29 and obviously is unsettled after what happened last season. Manchester United know that if the price is right, that Watkins will leave Aston Villa. Again, going back to what I said with the Garnacho situation, he is going to be absolutely key to anything happening. Even Ben Jacobs said this earlier on. I've seen him tweet it out. Garnacho's sale is absolutely key to Manchester United selling. It makes everything easier. It's 100% profit, and United can play around with it whatever way they want. They don't owe anything on Garnacho. He's on very low wages. He's off the books, gone, and that for United gives them all of the freedom and some to go out and get whatever striker they want. Now, at the moment, they're looking at other options because they're struggling to sell these players, but it's only going to take one more of these players to go and Manchester United's window opens up again. That's where we're at with Ollie Watkins. And United do look like they are not favouring Ollie Watkins, but at the moment it looks like it's an easier deal to get done. But then again, it brings up that conversation. Are you about to spend 60 million on a 29-year-old? No. That's why it jumped back across to Benjamin Sesko, and the seesaw continues because Manchester United right now are willing to give a longer contract to spread the cost out for a 22-year-old rather than a short-term deal for a player costing the same amount of money in Ollie Watkins, making it dearer each year. So obviously if it's only 3 years worth of payments for Ollie Watkins, you divide 60 by 3, and that's the problem that you've got right now, Manchester United. So you're upwards there towards more like 20 million a year instead of spreading a 22-year-old out over 4 to 5 years, because you can give him a longer contract because he's got sell-on factor after that contract finishes. It's more financially comfortable for United to go out and buy Benjamin Sesko than it is Ollie Watkins. But then you've got to make the decision. Is this all for getting what Manchester United need now, like we've discussed before on the player side of things, which is Ollie Watkins guarantees you goals and Premier League experience, where Benjamin Sesko offers you none of that, except a hope that he can continue his form, which is getting better over in the Bundesliga with Leipzig. So that's where we're at right now. None of these deals are off. United can afford all of them. It's too much right now, and we just haven't got the space or the room financially to buy these players now, but there's time, and United will always hold off until a certain point. There will be a decision coming soon in which way they go, and Romano has also said that. Romano, true to his word in a way, by saying in a couple of days we will know exactly what Manchester United are going to do. He then drops the Sesko situation on us. Obviously we've got Ben Jacobs talking about the Ollie Watkins situation, as well as other journalists, even Samuel Luckhurst, who came out and said, and this one is a definite no. People getting excited because Alexander Isak came out and said that he wants to leave Newcastle, thinking that United are all of a sudden going to go and spend 120 million on a striker like Isak. Like, that is never going to happen. And Samuel Luckhurst went in on this big time by saying, one source said, not a chance. And that's why United are looking at Watkins and Jean-Philippe Mateta. Now, more on him in a minute, and we'll get into the other strikers that were being talked about as well. But first of all, in we go with the chat tonight, everybody. So please do get all of your comments in the live chat, people. Let me know what you're thinking right now. It's a bit confusing, isn't it? it's a bit all over the place, but there is still actual room for Manchester United to manoeuvre this transfer window. It isn't dead like some are saying, and some are driving that negative to a point where it's like United can't afford this. This is the way it's been. Look, we just bought 2 players for over 60 million of top quality who are more of a guarantee than Ollie Watkins or Benjamin Sesko are ever going to be. So just look at what we've done and then actually look at the situation where we're at now and go, right, okay, we can clearly see what needs to happen with moving players on. We've still done good at the moment. And that's, honestly, for Manchester United fans right now, is the way that we need to look at it. The window's still got time. Let's just let it breathe and see what happens. Things can change very, very quickly. Like we said already, Sesko's price has come right down since the start of this window. So let's just go. And let's see. United, by the way, do know of the interest in Benjamin Sesko from Newcastle now because of Alexander Isak and the potential move to Liverpool. Ben Jacobs, just to make you clear on everything, has come out along with other journalists as well, not just him, saying that the word of Alexander Isak being close to signing and agreeing terms with Liverpool is way, way off the mark. So this deal is nowhere near close, and I cannot see Newcastle making this easy at all for Liverpool. Therefore, they're probably looking at this and going, right, is there a chance we could salvage Alexander Isak in this situation right now? And it may drag on for a bit, giving United a bit of time to actually get a deal done. But Newcastle know that they need to find a striker. And Manchester United now know that Sesko is wanted by another one of their rivals. Maybe it prompts United to moving things along a bit quicker, i.e. trying to sell one of these players maybe a little bit cheaper, just so we can buy somebody else in. This is what you got to look at. It's like we just said there. It's over 20 million a year saved in selling Jadon Sancho for 15 million than from what we're paying now. That's the difference. Going towards the end of this year, the difference on the books will be 20 million for Jadon Sancho a year. You add Rashford to that, that's 37 million. And obviously then you can easily afford the first instalment for Benjamin Sesko. The second instalment's easily covered by the likes of Harry Maguire and Casemiro off the books at the end of this season as well. So there's a comfort blanket there if they want to look into it. But it is going to come down to United getting rid of one of these players. And even loans right now are not cancelling out Manchester United getting anybody else. They can still move with transfers even if players are loaned out because the wages are off the books. It's not dead in the water. That's all I'm saying with that one. Sternlove says, Super Chats, what the F is Garnacho doing? Is he thick, poorly advised? Poorly advised. I wouldn't go that harsh on him and say that he is he is the first thing that you called him there, mate. But look, again, like I'm just hoping, and I've said this before, it's clicking in with him right now that everybody's starting to play football again and he's not. And he's fully fit and he's ready to go. But nobody wants you, mate. Because of your attitude. So hopefully that kicks in with him a little bit. Sesko, Guerra, Lamens, and we fight. Tired of this ifs and buts now. Well, you've got another 5 weeks plus of it, mate. Sorry. It's going to continue. Just be prepared for it, everybody. It is going to carry on and carry on and carry on. We ain't done with this yet. Nothing's going to happen tomorrow. It could. But, I mean, nothing's going to be fully rectified. United have got a lot of business to get through yet. And it is going to be... It's going to be full on, to say the least. Spirit of Lakota says, after the tour, AMORIM with... AMORIM, was he supposed to say, will have a clearer idea regarding Kobe and other youngsters. Any sales of these is pure profit as well. Yes, in terms of the youngsters, Manchester United is sending a load of players out on loan, including Morehouse, like we said yesterday. Obviously, Ethan Wheatley and... Radek Vitek is also going out on loan again. Them deals pretty much already done. Eli Harrison as well on loan, gone. There's 4 I can think of instantly there that are off Manchester United's books already on loan this season. So again, Man United just don't seem to be able to raise the right amount of money for some of our youngsters because they're not getting given a chance to actually play and see. Let's see what happens with Amas. We'll see if anything does come about there. Let's see. Antony doing a blunder by only wanting Betis. We'll talk about Antony in a minute. That is definitely a fair point there, buddy. It's something that I have been very frustrated by, and a lot of Manchester United fans getting absolutely sick to the back teeth now of this absolute love affair between Antony and Real Betis and holding Manchester United to ransom. We are not a charity. More on that coming up. We need to sell players anyway before we buy. Keep an eye on Højlund as well. Yep, we've said this before. Højlund, Jack, could be a way out for Manchester United to bring another striker in. Yes, we owe money on Rasmus Højlund. So going back to it again, if we sold Rasmus Højlund and made a tiny little bit of a loss on him, can we afford Benjamin Sesko? Well, that loss is probably covered by the wages we're going to save off Marcus Rashford this financial year. So yes, if Rasmus Højlund's fee and everything that is costing us, everything that he's costing us a year is off the books, of course we can then move in and go for Benjamin Sesko with that. Or Ollie Watkins if we wanted to. But just a reminder on it and why Manchester United are not going to pay what Aston Villa wants. And if it comes down, it comes down. But the worry about Ollie Watkins, that price tag from Aston Villa is way too high. They're not going to get 60 million for Ollie Watkins from anybody. He's 29. And it would just cost too much. But like they have said, they're not selling. If you're going to come and take him, you're going to come and take him for big money, not for sale. So Villa quite within their rights to say that. Garnacho. I keep on saying it. It's all on Garnacho. For Villa and Watkins, I don't think Watkins happens unless Garnacho is sold or he goes to Villa. Because that's where the money is created by Manchester United that they can do so much more with. That there, the 100% profit, counts for near enough double in a financial fair play or PSR situation. It's crazy the way it works. But that's Manchester United's get out right there. Garnacho is always going to be the biggest fish for Manchester United to sell this summer because it's not costing them anything. He literally is costing them 50 grand a year. His wages is peanuts. With him off the books and obviously the wages and the fee in for Manchester United, that can just go straight down onto a player. You could have, with Garnacho's money, basically the majority of Benjamin Sesko paid for. That's the difference. It's not like you could choose which way you wanted to take the installments. You could literally just this is what I mean. You could buy two players with Garnacho's 40 to 50 million on installments. That's how easy it is for Manchester United to go out and buy two players. If Garnacho's sold, expect your striker and your goalkeeper to move very quickly in coming in for Manchester United because that's the bonus money right there. It would have been the same with Marcus Rashford if we'd have got good money for him, but obviously, he's been devalued over the years, and obviously he's gone on loan, so we're not getting anything for him. So let's just hope that Barcelona do take that money when it comes to it at the end of next season. And again, like I just said, like next season you are losing probably Rashford's wages because Barcelona will trigger that release. Because I pray to God he does well this season. So you're losing Rashford, Maguire and Casemiro guaranteed next season. After this season's finished, their wages off the books. Calculate that. Calculate all of that there. Right there you're looking at, I think just off the top of my head, if you lose Rashford's, Casemiro's and Harry Maguire's wages, nearly 900 grand a week. Nearly 900. It is. It's 800 and something I think it works out at a week. Good God. Let that, calculate that. Actually, in fact, I'm going to calculate it right now, actually. I want to make sure I'm right with that one. So let's just round it off to 800, let's say. So 800, 41.6, so £41.5 million a year in wages off the books next season guaranteed if Rashford's sold. With 26 million transfer fee on top of that for Marcus Rashford. 30 million, whatever it is. You could say that Casemiro, Maguire and Rashford leaving next summer brings Manchester United into their financial year an extra 70 million near enough when you do the calculations. It's crazy, isn't it? But that's the reality right now of United and why it's so important to move players on. But when they're swines and they don't want to move, this is where United have the issue. And this is where it gets really frustrating for the fan base because we want to know why we want to bid for Ekitike, but then we can't bid for Sesko. All Ornstein said on that one was Manchester United went to Frankfurt to find out what was going on and he'd already committed. No one said anything about United bidding. They went and approached Frankfurt for Ekitike. Not to say that we was about to pay. So I think that's what we've got to also remember, how it was worded as well. So again, that's one that is doing the rounds on social media. People having a bit of a 2 and 8 about why we can afford Ekitike, but we can't all of a sudden afford the likes of Benjamin Sesko. It is slightly different when it's broken down. Dreaming of Isaac, but obviously it's going to be Watkins or Mateta. I think we will be a Premier League proven striker, but I'd love to see Sesko too, says Jack. Yeah, I mean, Mateta, Watkins, Sesko, it's all better than what we've got right now. I wouldn't mind Mateta. I wouldn't. I think he'd be a great signing for Manchester United. I think Watkins would, and I think Benjamin Sesko would. We're looking at the right players anyway. We have a poll running right now as well, everybody. Who will be United's number 9 signing? Sesko, Watkins, Mateta, or somebody else? Sesko is still holding up the vote at 46% right now. Followed closely, well, not closely, but followed in second at 23% by Ollie Watkins. Then it's someone else. Then it's Jean-Philippe Mateta. Not committing to it, are we, everybody? Thank you everyone for all the likes already. Cheers. Get them likes up, people. Give the video a like if you're loving the content. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you if you already have. Again, we'll get the mods to drop in the link for this shirt that everybody loves. I've seen a few people talking about it already. The purple one-off shirts on OK Jerseys. The link will be up in your live chat in just a moment's time. Go and get yours. Brilliant shirt. Absolutely love it. And the quality is absolutely mint. So yeah, go check it out, everybody, and get your own. I think it was about 16 quid, 15, 16 quid it cost me. So get to it, people. Go and fill your boots. Let's get a few more comments in. With Sesko up front, it'll be the front line of fear, says Cornish Melissa. It will be. Like, it will be with Watkins there. It will be with Mateta in there. One good striker surrounded by Cunha and Mbumo changes Manchester United's outlook for next season completely. It's different now. Like, it's a lot better now, but still, like, one more would just be like, oh yeah. It would, wouldn't it? It would be. Oh god, yeah. It's still thinking about it. Still thinking about it now. And the potential of Manchester United next season with a good striker in there amongst the likes of Cunha and Mbumo. It would be great. Let's get some more comments in. Gary says Sancho, a restaurant, and Garnacho are doing are doing their utmost to create setbacks and hurt our club. That's how deep their toxic player power goes. They know they are holding up progress for Manchester United. I think they do as well, mate. I really do. They're not going to jump at anything. Stu Cantona says, add Sancho 250 and Antony wages onto the Casemiro, Rashford and Maguire. 1.5 million a week saved in wages alone. 76 million a year. They're the big things that make a difference, and what United are probably going to be looking at next summer as well. Can we take advantage of it? That's the question, isn't it? How far can Manchester United go? Zayn with a super chat says Eza and Isaac coming to the... No, they're not. Like, there's no way that Isaac is going to Arsenal at this stage, mates. I'm sorry. There's no way that Mikel Arteta buys 2 strikers. It's taken him a bleeding age to get 1 in. So you're not having 2, mate. You greedy bugger. So forget it, Zayn. It's not happening. Cheers for the super chats. Mudgy says, hi Adam, why isn't United getting the goalkeeper, i.e. Lamens, now, since it's cheaper and easier before focusing on a striker? Because I think, mate, it's a good point to make, and somebody else has made that same point before. The situation we've got here is I don't think Manchester United want to spend too much of the money that they've got available in case they have to go more on the striker, because that's the bigger position that Manchester United need to fill. Their priority, it would seem, is the striker, and taking funds away from that for buying a goalkeeper, I just don't think they're ready to do, mate. And that's probably the best way I could describe it. Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig. I hope Manchester United will sign Benjamin Sesko from Leipzig. Much cost for Manchester United, 60 to 70. 64 million is what Benjamin Sesko cost, according to Fabrizio Romano. That's including add-ons. Yep, I know what you're thinking. We can afford that. You'll be right to think that we can afford it. Adam, a good forward with the proper football style will be great. Will be great players getting the ball to the front man, but need to stop shooting from outside the box, please. Well, no, mix it up. Do both, mate, is what I say. In terms of strikers, another name that's been brought up, and this was brought up by Ben Jacobs again. No surprise, Saudi Pro League football expert is saying that Manchester United may turn their attentions to Mitrovic. Yes, Mitrovic coming back to the Premier League. United may look at him as someone who is cheaper and more affordable to bring in than the likes of Sesko and Watkins. He is saying that also that he's the one that's been driving the Watkins side of things, but Villa don't want to sell. But of course, things can change, and he has always said, keep an eye on Benjamin Sesko to Manchester United. There is always going to be room for Benjamin Sesko and United. It will be interesting to see if Newcastle do go for Benjamin Sesko, how Manchester United react to it. Will it prompt them into action? And all of a sudden, we get that Ekitike money that everyone was talking about. I know I explained why. It might not just be as straightforward as United were in for Ekitike, so why aren't we in for Sesko? But let's see if Newcastle prompt Manchester United into action. If they come forward with any kind of bid for Benjamin Sesko or make a move for him, let's see what happens from there. Would you take Mitrovic at Manchester United, though? That'd be an interesting one. Him coming back to the Premier League. Now, great striker. Proper old school number 9. It's that type of striker that Manchester United haven't had in years, to be honest. Great in the air, strong, Prem proven as well. Still old, and it would just depend on how much. He's on absolutely astronomical wages. In fact, I'm going to check what it actually is. We like to do this. Mitrovic contract right now. Let's check it out. This is going to be crazy. I think I've looked at this one before, so let's convert this into pounds. God, you're not going to believe this. Right, okay. There is no release clause. His contract ends in a year, so that's an opportunity. Manchester United would have to get him cheap. At the moment, Mitrovic is being paid in pounds 21.6 million a year. Yes, it sounds expensive, and if I told you that was £416, verified by the way, so it's real, that is what Alexander Mitrovic is being paid right now. What will his wages be if he comes to United? 150 to 200? He's going to have to take a minimum 50% pay cut to even fit in at Manchester United. That is obviously up to him. Has he taken enough money from Al Hilal at this point in time to move away and be happy? Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money. 21 million in a year. There's some Premier League players that don't earn that in a lifetime on different contracts throughout their careers. That is astronomical. But yes, if United want Mitrovic, maybe. Look, he's 30 years old and he's going to have to be cheap. Very cheap for Manchester United to actually want him. I mean, what is his market value right now? 20 million or something like that? He is still scoring goals, but that contract scares the hell out of me. I just don't see how Manchester United would entertain that. And therefore, would that be a problem going forward? Would Mitrovic just say, nope, I want my money? If you're going back to the Premier League from the Saudi Pro League, you are obviously going to be a little bit stuck. You're going to come unstuck, definitely wage-wise anyway. But let me know about Mitrovic, everybody. Did anyone know that Mitrovic was on that amount of money? Yeah, I reckon Manchester United would demand, I would say, what would they pay? Like 15 to 20 million for a 30-year-old who can come in for a couple of seasons, maybe on a couple $100,000 a week wages at best, and do a job for United for the time being. Something to think about, I suppose, isn't it? It's up to Manchester United and how desperate they actually get. But Al Hilal apparently are open to moving Mitrovic on, so they could have something in that. It could. Greg is replying to Zane with a super chat. Thank you, Greg, for that. Zane won't donate enough to allow comments on his drivel. So there's one for everybody to use to tell Zane what you all think. I love you guys. I don't think there'll be any delay in people giving Zane what they think he's worth. Cal says Mitrovic would probably be good for us for a year stopgap, but it wouldn't be a popular choice. No, it wouldn't. I think there is sense in Mitrovic. There is a very good player there who knows the Premier League inside and out, and that is key for United right now. Mitrovic with Cunha and Mbeumo either side of him. That's a no-nonsense front line, that, isn't it? You're not going to get pushed over and bullied with that front line. That's got creativity, strength, pace, experience, and some. Honestly, that it is an option for United. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing how United actually go into this last few weeks of the window now. Like, coming into we're into August next week. The end of next week. It's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out for United. And do you know what? Ruben will watch his team. Ruben will watch the tour, go through Manchester United's friendlies this summer and make decisions upon what he's watching as well. And after the friendlies happen and when things move forward, you will actually see more action in the transfer window and things start to come about and decisions being made as well. I need to move on to something that Samuel Lucas said, and this brings in Antony and Casemiro at the moment. Apparently there's been 4 different intermediaries, agents, that have been tasked with trying to find a club for Casemiro and move him on from the football club. He is actively, according to Samuel Lucas, stopping Manchester United going out and buying another midfielder. They need to sell someone or move a big earner off the books for them to go out and buy a midfielder that they want. This is how tight Manchester United's budget is. And yes, we can afford these players like we've explained at the top of the show. But they're just being added to an ever-growing debt for Manchester United, which is transfer fees and wages. Now, at the moment, it's not as high because we're not in the Champions League and everybody takes a big cut when we're not in the Champions League, which, fair enough, should be the way. To be honest, if I was a United player, I'd be embarrassed earning the amount of money that I am at the moment, knowing that people are losing their jobs at the football club and fans are being asked to pay more money. I'd be embarrassed as a United player right now. But that's just the way that this club is. And then players are well protected. Looking at it, though, I get what Slockhurst is saying. It sounds a bit drastic, though, doesn't it? The bigger problem is Mr Antony. That's a massive problem for Manchester United. And I think Ben Jacobs also said something on this as well when he said that Antony prioritising a move to Real Betis is causing Manchester United a real problem. To be honest, Ben Jacobs isn't the only one that said this. There's been several journalists. Fabrizio Romano has talked about the persistent approach from Betis. Betis are taking the piss out of Manchester United with this. It's the only way you can look at it. They have bought other players in and paid money for the value that Manchester United are asking for Antony. For someone like Antony, who's saved their season near enough with his goals and his contributions last season and took them to where they did. Yeah, not only him, there was other players, of course, but for Antony to do what he did and then Betis to try and treat this and think, you know what, if Antony prioritises us, we can take United till the end of the window and get a loan for Antony again and get him absolutely dirt cheap. And by the way, in this loan proposal from Betis, they still don't want to pay all of Antony's wages. They don't want to pay a loan fee. They want to take Antony again with an option to buy him the following season, and United still pay some of his wages. I'm sorry. We've just got rid of Marcus Rashford, who is an absolute nightmare, and all of his wages are paid for. Antony isn't going anywhere near Betis unless they're willing to pay his wages. Antony, worst case scenario, he's going to have to take a massive pay cut, and go on loan to Betis again at the end of the window. I honestly don't know why Manchester United are not telling Antony. Well, obviously they're not telling Antony because he he's just going to tell them no anyway. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. I just don't get the situation at all, like how Antony is not open to moving anywhere else and why it has to be Real Betis. They haven't even got a Champions League football. There's other Champions League football clubs that are actually actively after Antony, and he's not going. And United need to start putting the foot down a little bit, I think, in the Antony situation. It is insanely frustrating now watching this, how we're being held by Betis and how this is holding everything up, because Antony's wages off the book and a transfer fee for him, which is value for money for somebody, and it would cover all of Manchester United's debt for Antony and what we still owe. Him off the books is just as much as getting rid of a Sancho right now and being able to afford one of Benjamin Sesko or Watkins. This is how important Antony moving on is, but we're at stalemate with him. Nothing on Jadon Sancho. Nobody's moving on Garnacho. The only thing we've got in hope here is that Aston Villa do make a move on Alejandro Garnacho at some point, and that, I think, then it changes the whole outlook of the window, and Manchester United will move very, very quickly on it. Let's get some more comments on this. Let's see this. Manchester United can sell a women's team to Ineos for 300 million, but Ineos must do it. Why are they not doing it? Because they are like the Glazers. No, Manchester United, Ineos will never buy the Manchester United's winning team for obvious reasons. They don't own the club. All these other clubs that are doing it are owned by one person, not two, like United. Like Ineos are not going to give the Glazers any more money without power, and the Glazers won't release the power. That's it. The best thing that Ineos have done is put a football structure into Manchester United, but I still get the argument that people have got why they don't like the Ineos ownership model, because they've in bed with the Glazers. People will always say that they facilitated the Glazers staying at Manchester United. I get that. I do. And yeah, they could sponsor. They could buy the women's football team. But it's not going to give them any more power at United. So why would they give the Glazers money when they've never spent anything? And they're not going to invest it back into Manchester United or put anything towards the stadium or invest it into the squad, because they've never done that before with their own money. They've spent the club's money. I don't see how it would work for United right now. It's just too awkward with the way that the club is run and the way it's owned. Silly Man says we should do to other teams what Brentford did to us. Fix our price and don't budge. Forget what the player wants. You could make Antony sweat, and then on the last day of the window, a deal comes out. Can United afford to risk that in losing anything at all and then being stuck with Antony? The last thing Antony wants is to be part of this Man United squad right now. The last thing that Ruben wants is for Antony to be part of this squad right now. Can we let him rot? No, I don't think we can. We need to get the money for him. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of wages. But I just don't see, like, if United dropped Antony, apparently United have dropped Antony's price to 30 million. Then we hear a story from Brazil saying United rate him at 50 million. I think United would accept 30 million right now off Real Betis, and they can't afford that. Scandalous. Absolutely scandalous. It's like we're banging our head against a bleeding brick wall right now with Real Betis. It's an absolute joke is what it is. At the end of the day, people moaning about Ineos are missing the points. They were always going to stay, so we were always going to end up this way. Ineos haven't facilitated anything. Greg there with a fair point as well. Jean-Philippe Mateta, like Samuel Luckhurst has said, again, like there is no news or significant movement on Jean-Philippe Mateta. It's just that Manchester United would take him if they could buy him. Like, he's on their list. And this list of players, I think, is just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller as this window moves to its end. And one way or another, I think, like when I just said before, like going into August, I think Manchester United, we will know very, very soon what Manchester United can do. And it's going to come down to them making a decision. If they feel like they need a little bit more time to get a deal done for a player, and maybe they drop the price for a Garnacho, maybe they just cut their losses with Sancho, maybe they accept some form of loan deal just to get Antony's wages off the books and be able to afford another player coming in. All of these decisions, I think, are basically on the brink right now, and this is where Manchester United are. This is why we're struggling. We're struggling because we have got, and you add up the wages. Let's say, for instance, let's just look at them right now. So, going off just ballpark figures here. So, let's just say Antony's original contract is 200 grand a week. Jadon Sancho, 250 a week. So Malacia, I think he's on 70 grand a week. So that's him. And who else have we got there? There's Garnacho on 50 grand a week. So that for Manchester United is just over £500,000 a week. When you look at that annually, that's just shy of £30 million in wages that United are forking out for Malacia, Garnacho, Antony and Sancho. It's a bit less than that because they've all been cut the 25% because of the not participating in the Champions League. But even if you take 25% off that, I mean, actually, let's just do that now. Actually, yeah. So you're taking £7.4 million off that. So you're still there talking over 20 million. So you're talking now, what, 21.6 million in wages, even with their cut part of wages through being out of the Champions League, through all of them players that United have still got on their books. That's enough money. If you loaned all of them out and got all of the wages covered for a year, you could go out and buy Benjamin Sesko, worst case scenario. I just feel like decisions like that will creep into Manchester United's meetings as it gets closer to the end of the window. And I'm not calling it panic. I'm not saying that that's what it is. But maybe an executive decision needs to be made in all of this. Just to go over everything that we have talked about, again, the Benjamin Sesko, that we can't afford him, isn't necessarily that we can't afford Benjamin Sesko. We just cannot buy him now. United have contacted RB Leipzig, like Romano said, to find out the conditions to the deal, whether the player would be open to coming to Manchester United, the structure of the deal and the wages of the player. And everything about what it's going to take for Manchester United to get it done, and they can't afford it right now. They could if players were moved on, and at the moment nobody's anywhere near closer to leaving Manchester United in terms of the players we've been talking about all summer: Malacia, Antony, Garnacho and Sancho. So that, I think, is also something to remember on that. United are open to other options: Jean-Philippe Mateta and Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins is the problem because Villa don't want to sell him, and if someone does want him, then he's going to be 60 million. If that comes down, I can't see it because Villa ain't got a lot of money, and it's harder for them to go out and find another striker in the last month of the window who is as good as Ollie Watkins. The more it drags on, I just don't think Villa are going to sell Ollie Watkins. United will not spend 60 million on a 29-year-old. That's been made clear by the video that we did earlier on today. That's on the channel if you want to go watch that back to get the Ollie Watkins lowdown. But United reportedly in at about 45 million valuation of Watkins, and they would be open to doing that deal. They could put him on a shorter-term contract and make it work financially for them. But, again, you've got to get Ollie Watkins for 45 from Aston Villa. And why would they do that? They might do that if Garnacho is sold. That's it. And it's him. Again, Garnacho, he is the key. Antony, Sancho. All of these players, United need to move on. But Garnacho is the creme. He is the one that is going to give Manchester United the Brewsters to actually make a significant signing in the latter stages of this window. Losing Garnacho on loan isn't going to affect Manchester United at all in terms of what we can do positively in the market. I think Garnacho would happily wait out and not agree on anything just to make a point. And I go back to what I said earlier on. Hopefully it kicks in with him that he isn't playing football anymore. He's not wanted. He needs to find a football club if he wants to get in the Argentina squad. And I think United are hoping that that actually does prevail towards the back end of this transfer window as well. So let's see what moves on that. I see a panic buy coming. I don't, Alex, actually, because I don't think Ineos would. I don't think Ineos would spend that money, mate. I don't think they would. They would not invest. Like, going off what Sir Jim said about Casemiro, panic buying is the last thing that Manchester United right now would do. I don't think they would spend rather than panic buy. I don't. I think they've got certain players that they're willing to go for now in the last month of the window, but they're not going to panic buy. There's just something that tells me they'd rather go with what they've got than go and get someone who's crap and put him on the books, because it's just going to kick the problem down the road again. It's kicking the can down the road, and it's not going to help Manchester United in the long run either. And they are looking to build for the future. So let's see what comes about now in the last few weeks of this window. It's going to be a long old slog for us. I hope you're ready for it. I am. I'm fully prepared and ready to go. I'm going to keep bringing you the content. Massive thank you to you all again. Mods in the chat, absolutely brilliant. Cheers for that. By the way, don't miss out. This is your one of your last few chances to get involved with our match sponsors, Match Bingo, everybody. You are missing out if you are not already involved in it. I've even put the matching shirt colour on tonight for the logo. Check that out. Dead easy, dead simple. If you are watching right now, and you can scan the QR code in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, scan it, download the app, deposit £5 into your account, and they will double that, Match Bingo that is, instantly to £10. You then put in the promo code section FUTV in capitals and boost your money by 200% to play in the actual app on different games. It's £2 a game, and they're covering the United friendlies. So get involved now before the weekend starts and that first tour game for Manchester United. So get involved. You are missing out. The game is really straightforward to play as well. It's dead easy. It's just like getting into a bingo hall and ticking off the numbers and getting your line and winning the money. You get 25 quid for a line, except instead of numbers, it's match events like goals, corners in a certain minute, subs in a certain minute. £25 a line. If you get the jackpot, upwards of 300 quid. And the Euro final special on Sunday with the women and the Lionesses has got a special on as well. So check that out. £2 a game. Also, if you buy 4 cards, you'll get another one free. There's loads of offers on it right now. Download the app, deposit £5. That's all you have to do. Use the QR code, or there is a link in the description as well under Match Bingo, everybody. A fantastic app. It just adds so much more fun to the game. Loads of us in the chat here, including myself and Kaz and a few others, have won massive money on this game already. So please do get involved. And thanks again to Match Bingo for all their help and sponsoring the channel as well. Let's just get into the last knock-ins and the last few chats before we finish up. We've seen a few super chats just go in there, and that's gone from Alex again. The last one, thank you, buddy. I would sooner spend on a keeper over a striker at the moment. The thought of Onana in goal makes me ill. Put Mbumo or Cunha up front instead for now. That's a decision that a lot of Man United fans are actually thinking about right now. Is it the goalkeeper or the striker? What is more important right now? Can Betis just F off with Sancho? Sancho? They want Antony, mate. But yeah, cheers for that, Jack, again. I didn't see that super chat there right at the end. Please give the video a like, everybody. That will take us up to that 500 live like mark, which we always try and get on the live shows, which would be epic again. Thank you if you already have. Love that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well to stay completely up to date on everything that's going on with Manchester United. I have got you covered. The Match Bingo link is in the live chat as well now, everybody. So please do go check it out. It is a load of fun, trust me. It's an absolute ball. And we're going to be doing some watch-alongs this season, playing the Match Bingo as well. And there will be a load more bonuses and offers coming in on that one as well, everybody. So check it out, please, everyone. And that is us all finished. We should hit that 500 live mark in just a moment as we're finishing up. Mods in the chat, fantastic job yet again. Please do, more importantly, just get your comments in after this video is finished. Talk to me about everything that we've spoken about. The importance of the striker, the keepers. We've not even talked about midfielders tonight because it's been about Manchester United affording their top striker targets. Let me know what you think. Is it doable? Would you go for one of the make-weight strikers, a Mitrovic or a Mateta? Let me know your thoughts. Get into the chat. Talk to me, everybody, and I will see you all bright and early in the morning at 8 o'clock with your morning updates. Let's see what happens tonight. There's always something, isn't there? Anyway, that's us all done. Cheers, everybody.